Your body is not who you are. You shed it like a snake sheds its skin. You transfer the human consciousness between bodies to live eternal life.
How long have I been down?
250 years.
You are the property of Bancroft Industries. You've been provided with this body, which came equipped with military-grade neurochem and combat muscle memory.
Mr. Kovacs.
I didn't ask you to bring me back into this world.
All I ask of you is that you solve a murder.
Whose?
Mine.
This is the beginning.
Whoever murdered him must be found, or we're all in danger.
I'm gonna need access that you don't want to give. And I'm gonna find answers that you may only think you want.
Friends, enemies, people with opportunity and motive.
Can't trust anybody.
If you don't solve this quickly enough, I'll erase you.
Of the end.
I thought you'd be bigger. They made me bring all this back up.
It's rude.
There's more here than you're willing to see. The mystery needs to be solved.
Hey, Lieutenant?
You know, saving your ass is not my only job.
I like her.
This is the beginning.
This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com and Review. I just finished watching the last episode, episode 10 of Altered Carbon, and this series on Netflix has got some scathingly bad reviews. In fact, when I first saw the trailer, I wrote something to the effect on ScreenFiles.com, by the way, WordPress, check it out. I wrote something to the effect saying that I thought it was essentially Blade Runner. And it is. It is Blade Runner. In fact, if you had told me the world of Altered Carbon is the exact same universe as Blade Runner, I'd believe it. Not only from the trailer, but from the show itself. It seems set in that same world. And oddly enough, I'm okay with that. What bothered me about the trailer was that it looks so much like Blade Runner, and I thought it would just be a rehash of that. And it's not. It's its own story. It's actually a very rich, multi-layered story. It's a detective story in some ways as well. There's a voiceover, like Blade Runner, but to be totally honest with you, I enjoyed it more than Blade Runner. Reason being, as I mentioned earlier, it's 10 episodes long, each episode lasting about an hour, give or take. So you get time to flesh out the character, you build the world, and that's what's so interesting about Altered Carbon. It's such a rich world that these characters exist in. Blade Runner, for the most part, and keep in mind, a lot of people lately seem to be shouting from the heavens how brilliant Blade Runner is. That movie flopped originally. Why? Because it's lots of pretty images that amount to not a lot. The way people are after the fact proclaiming their love for Blade Runner is mildly nauseating. It's a beautiful movie. It's an interesting movie. It's not a great movie by any stretch of the imagination. And I actually enjoyed Altered Carbon more. And I want to see it again because, as I mentioned earlier, there are layers to it. And character motivations are so multifaceted that I want to see more of them, and I'm pretty sure there are things I missed that I want to watch again. Also, I read somewhere that there's an instance of whitewashing in Altered Carbon. There is not. There is. Joel Kinnaman plays a character who, through a technology called stacks, people can switch from body to body, essentially making us immortal, because you can switch your stack to another body whenever something happens, and as long as the stack itself isn't harmed, you'll be fine. So it's talking about the rich and the poor and immortality and religion. I keep using the word rich because that's the only one I can find that describes the world that is built around Altered Carbon. It's a great watch. Ignore the critics, because Netflix, you're sitting at home and you're watching it, but you pay for it as well. It's cheaper than a movie ticket, frankly, but you're still paying for it in the subscription and in your time. And like anything else, you don't want to waste either one. So trust me on this. Altered Carbon is great. It's clever, it's witty, it's gritty, it's violent when it wants to be, and almost philosophical when it wants to be as well. And there's a lot of nudity. And someone who reviewed it commented on the nudity as well. And my answer to that is, please grow up. Men have certain parts, women have certain parts. What is the American fixation with nudity? It's just, rather I should say, the American fear of nudity. Everyone has a body. Some bodies are better looking than others. But it's just a body. Get over it. It's not a big deal. As long as, obviously this is not for children, but you have an adult watching this, I don't care about nudity. In fact, I want to see more nudity in my television. I want to see more female nudity. I want to see more male nudity. I want to see just, if the story fits it, of course. But this fear of nudity, and particularly American television and movies, is just ridiculous. Everyone has a body. Everyone is naked at some point. You come into the world naked, to be sure, and throughout your life, you're naked. Get over it. If you're overweight, lose a little if that's your issue. If it's not, more power to you. But nudity is just the way people look. We need to stop being so immature and silly and childish about it. That aside, Altered Carbon is awesome. It's intense. It's a lot of fun. And for me, a sign that I like it so much is that I want to see it again. I watch a lot of Netflix, and certain things I see it once, I'm happy, I'm done, I move on. I want to see this again. There's so much going on, and there's so many layers to the story that I'm pretty sure there's something I missed. Check it out, you'll like it, it's great. Ignore the critics, most of them have no clue what they're talking about. Altered Carbon, Netflix, screenfiles.com, and review. Peace.